Don't be afraid to take a break. What's going on YouTube? Taylor Prentice back here with another video, and this video is going to be on how to deal with beat block. So if you're a producer, you've definitely gone through this. This is something I go through from time to time. So I want to give you guys some things that I do when I'm experiencing beat block to kind of help me get through that and back to making beats at the quality that I like to make them. So let's just go ahead and get right on into it. So the first thing that I do when I'm like experiencing beat block, or I'm like sitting down and I just can't really come up with anything, or whatever I'm making just isn't hitting the way I want it to, is trying to explore new sounds. So a lot of times we get stuck in our ways and we load up our laptop, we make the genre we're comfortable making, and we do that every single day. And over time, like, it starts to lead to beat block because you've done the same thing so many times, and you know when you drag that next loop in or you make the next loop, it's going to sound similar to what you made the last time. And after a while of doing that, you just got to change stuff up or it's going to get really stale and it's going to lead to beat block. So a good thing to do is to just try making new genres or try working with new sounds. So collaborating can be really, really good for this, because say like Red the Kid, he always sends me loops that like aren't really like the sound that I usually work with. So whenever I use his loops, I do something that gets me out of my creative box. That kind of helps me not only just like develop new skills, but kind of beat that beat block, because I am working with something new and it just feels refreshing. And that's like another thing that I was getting into, is just, even if it's like you're making the loops or you're making the beats, just try something that you haven't tried before. So I remember one time I was going through beat block really bad. This was like a couple years ago, and I ended up learning how to make these like 80s type of drums and stuff, and I had a lot of fun with it. I don't really use that too much now, but it helped me get through the beat block that I was experiencing at that time, and it helped me develop some new skills for the future. So I definitely think that is a good way to cope with beat block, is to just try new stuff, work with new people, and try listening to new music, because a lot of times we just kind of replicate what we hear. If you're listening to new stuff, you're going to pick up on new skills and just hear things that you haven't heard before. And when you go and sit down and incorporate that into your own music, it's going to be a lot more fun, and it's going to feel like when you first started. I feel like whenever I'm in the process of learning something new, even if I'm like not really understanding how to do it yet, it feels kind of like reminiscent of when I started producing. And that's just a really good feeling, because it just gets fun again. Every once in a while, making music does get kind of stale or feel like a chore, but incorporating new sounds and working with new people and all this new stuff will just help keep things fresh, and it'll help further your career as a producer, because one, you're keeping yourself out of boredom, so the stuff you're making you probably enjoy more, which is just better for your career long term. And also, just working with new people, like I said earlier, you're going to develop new skills and you're going to add stuff to your music that you never thought to add before. Like, I'm taking stuff from like Amy Winehouse, like Mark Ronson type beats, and trying to incorporate that into my music, because that music really inspires me, but it's not something that I like really listen to until this year. And yeah, it's just stuff like that. You don't know what you like until you experience it. So a lot of times you got to get out of your listening comfort zone too, and just go find music that's new to you and see how you can incorporate some of those tricks and tips into your own music. So yeah, for the first part, find new people to work with, try new genres, and listen to new music. That'll be a good start to getting you through beat block. But on to the next things. So another thing that you can do if you're experiencing beat block is changing your workflow. So if you like most people, I feel like normally start with a loop or just making a melody and then adding drums. So if I ever get like super bored sometimes, or just don't know what to do, I feel like everything I'm making is kind of similar, I will start with my drums, just because I never really do it. So when I do it, it kind of makes like a unique experience for how I make the beat, and a lot of times it sounds different from what I would normally make. So just changing that part of the process helps me come up with new ideas and make stuff that's a little different than what I normally would. And you can change your workflow in other ways than just doing the drums first. Like, if you've never really sampled before, you can try sampling. If you're someone who doesn't make loops, you can try making loops. Just do something in your workflow that you don't normally do, or just try like using different effects or using different tools to manipulate your sounds and trying to get them where you want. Another thing with changing your workflow is changing your workplace. So a lot of times I just make beats like over there sitting on my bed with headphones in, but I realized like if I go outside or like out into public, I kind of get a little different of a vibe, and kind of get some different inspirations and stuff. A lot of times your surroundings can have an effect on what you're making, and a lot of times you just kind of need real life inspiration, which I feel like is kind of slept on in the music scene. I feel like everyone's like, you just got to make music, make music, make music. And I feel like that's not really how it should be. I feel like the best music is made when you kind of give yourself breaks. So I wanted to make that like the last part of this video is don't be afraid to take a break if you're experiencing beat block, because it's better to not make a beat than to sit down and stress yourself out and make a bunch of beats that you don't end up liking. And if you're somebody who really loves producing, you're gonna set down your laptop for a couple days, and then after a couple days you're gonna just have to get back on it. I don't make beats every day, I definitely don't, and I could not tell you the last time I went a full week without making a beat. That's just something that doesn't really happen for me, because it's like I have like an addiction to making beats or making loops, just making something musically or working on engineering. Just I have to do something musically, or else like I feel like, I don't know, I just don't feel normal. So if you're somebody who really loves the music, you can take a break and you will be all right, I promise you. I know a lot of people are scared, like I deal with this too. I feel really guilty if I take some days off or am not making something, or like I have like certain quantities of stuff that I try to get out every month, and I think it's good to have those and to strive to get a certain amount of stuff out every month. I think it helps me stay productive and stuff, but it's not like the end of the world if I don't hit those quantities for each month. Like the last couple months I haven't really been hitting them. I've been kind of getting a new job and just dealing with a lot of life stuff, so I haven't been cooking up as much, but it seems like the stuff I've been making is a lot better than the stuff that I've made in the past. So that kind of off time for me is going really far in my career, I would say. So I just wanted to emphasize the importance of taking breaks as a producer. I know for some people they don't like need breaks, and for some people if they take a break it can turn into like an extended break. So make sure if you're taking breaks you're not doing it forever and you're not just done producing. But like I said, if you're somebody who really loves producing, I think it's pretty easy to, well, it's kind of hard to like get yourself to take a break really, but it's easy to come back to the music after you've taken a break. Just take like a weekend off, watch some movies, chill with your friends, just go be a human, because a lot of times we get stuck in this scenario where we feel like robots and we feel like we have to get this done, we have to have like 20 loops a week or whatever. We just set all these goals for ourselves that sometimes aren't even attainable, and that can kind of wear on us as producers over time. And you got to think it's a long-term game. Obviously the more stuff you make in the short term, the more likely you are to land something, but if you burn yourself out, that's like the worst thing you can do. So I do everything I can to avoid burning myself out, and I know my production like quantity could have been higher over the last couple months, but at the same time I'm not too worried about that. I feel like I've still been heading in the right direction, and I feel like I've been developing my sound a lot more, and my loops for sure have gotten a lot better. I feel like my drums have gotten a lot better too. Yeah, I mean, I still have days where I sit down and I just can't make a beat, and that's fine with me. I'll just close my laptop, go listen to some new music, go watch some good shows or whatever. Like for some reason when I get into shows I get like really into them, so I'll like binge watch like a 6-season show in like a week or whatever and just not really make that many beats that week. But the next week I'll be like, oh, I don't have a show to watch now, so all I have to do is make beats. And when I sit down like that, and it just becomes a lot more fun again. And that's really the idea, is because like nobody wants to be in music like just purely as a business. I really enjoy making music. It's something I want to keep having fun doing, so I never want to burn myself out. And I know like there is phases that I go through where it's like I'm working hard and it feels like I'm gonna burn out, but I know at the end of the day, like if I set my laptop down for like 4 or 5 days that I'm just gonna have to come back to it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I really wanted to just make sure that you guys feel comfortable taking a break, because I feel like it's kind of frowned upon, or people have that kind of like grind all day, no sleep type of mentality. I feel like that's just really unhealthy and not good for long-term success as a producer. And it's a long-term game, like I said earlier. So yeah, just keep on finding new people to work with, find new sounds, find new genres to listen to, find real life stuff that inspires you. A lot of times we just get stuck in our rooms. Like, go out, have a drink with your friends, go eat some good food, like just go live your life. If you're not able to channel your music at that time, maybe you just need some real life experiences. A lot of times I feel like sometimes I just need to go out there and do stuff to be able to sit down and kind of make things interesting, because if you're in the same daily routine all the time, you sit down, you make the same stuff as yesterday, it just becomes a never-ending cycle, and that's not what music is about. Music is about having fun and making something that everybody enjoys. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys have any specific ways that you get over B block, if you want to leave them down in the comments, that would be awesome. I'm always looking for new ways to either help other producers or just help myself get over B block, because it does happen, and the older I've gotten, the better I've been at being able to deal with it. So I wanted to enlighten you guys on what stuff works for me, but I'm always interested to hear what works for other people and maybe try implementing some of those. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to this point, I really appreciate it. If you could hit that like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. I've got a free loop kit down below if you guys are interested, so definitely click that link. But thanks again for watching. See you next time.